Clay Travis has a beautiful exchange on the Piers Morgan show Uncensored against Richard Quest. This guy gets unhinged in this particular video, but Clay Travis keeps it classy.
I'm tired of this nonsense, arrant nonsense about the top elite and the stock market. The reality is, ma'am, the number of people with 401ks, the number of people with IRAs or Roth investment funds over decades that they've put together. My neighbor, who has worked all her life to put together a small amount of savings that she can live on for the rest of her life. She's 93 and just seen her savings go down by 15 to 20%. She's not the elite. Now you just tell me, how do you justify this vandalism when it was unnecessary to reach the same goal?
Check out this interview here on Piers Morgan. It is a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe.
I think you're right in terms of letting
Natalie,
this play out, but I would just say good riddance. And I definitely think that we should be damaging a system that has systematically disadvantaged American workers for decades. I know the critique of America being a country, not a special economic zone, is usually heard in the confines of the immigration debate, but I think it applies to economic policy too. Now, I'm not saying the stock market doesn't matter, but I think to look at that as the only metric or indicator of what's going on with what President Trump is trying to do, I think sort of misses the forest for the trees, especially here in the United States, given that the top 10% of people own, what is it, I think 93% of all equities. Meanwhile, the wages of the working class have absolutely plummeted. And I think to sit here and say that it's actually China who is somehow benefiting this, I'd have to fact check you. I think it's the EU saying that they want to lower their tariffs or at least start negotiations. That's a very important word in all of this. I also think Japan is getting ready to send a delegation over to negotiate those very things. But I think you have to understand the systematic abuse that the Chinese Communist Party has waged against this country for decades. Intellectual property theft, illegal trade subsidies, currency manipulation, exporting their work to other countries because we sanction them directly. That's why this tariff program is so vast, to avoid any loopholes or cutouts for other countries. I know it's nice to maybe pat on the backs of the Wall Street elites who are apoplectic over what's going on in the stock market right now, but the lived experience for America's working class, the status quo, is demonstrably worse and more radical than what you're seeing happen in the stock market right now.
You're sending Richard into some kind of anaphylactic shock. So, Richard, respond.
It's simple. I'm tired of this nonsense, arrant nonsense about the top elite and the stock market. The reality is, ma'am, the number of people with 401ks, the number of people with IRAs or Roth investment funds over decades that they've put together. My neighbor, who has worked all her life to put together a small amount of savings that she can live on for the rest of her life. She's 93 and just seen her savings go down by 15 to 20%. She's not the elite. Now you just tell me, how do you justify this vandalism when it was unnecessary to reach the same goal?
Natalie, respond to that.
Because her 401k would have been a lot higher if for the last few decades American politicians had actually prioritized her wages and not overseen NAFTA or China's ascension to the World Trade Organization. You're giving this sort of limited hangout worldview where you think what her 401k represents the entirety of what her financial well-being could have been. Tell you what, if politicians didn't just talk strong about tariffs, like what was it, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, essentially all of the Democratic Party has been for a while. If you watch the old clips, they'll agree with me and not you. They just never had the guts to actually do it.
The guts to blow up Americans' 401k.
Amy, be watching very...
Natalie makes a great point here against Richard Quest. I mean, this guy's going absolutely nuts. He's been on CNN recently a lot, and he's just been going absolutely berserk. The claim that 1 year of market loss is going to destroy somebody is absolutely ridiculous. And Natalie here is pushing back with intelligence. Let's keep watching this as we're going to see Quest pretty much explode throughout this whole entire interview.
Yeah, I mean, Clay, this would be concerning if I was Donald Trump. You've got people like Ben Shapiro, big Trump supporter, coming out saying he thinks it's unconstitutional. You've got Bill Ackman, one of the most successful business guys in America, now saying we could be facing a kind of nuclear meltdown if this goes the wrong way. You've got a lot of people on the right who are historically supporters of Trump. Elon Musk has said he wants to have effectively free trade between North America and Europe, for example. So clearly he doesn't like this whole tariff war either. And not surprising, given he's probably losing hundreds of billions of dollars as we speak. So if you're Donald Trump, only he seems to really understand what the grand plan is. He's articulated it to a degree. But if you're him, would you not be concerned that so many of your traditional supporters are beginning to get very twitchy about this?
Well, so I think there's a bunch of things that matter here, which have been talked about so far. First of all, we're the same stock price right now, roughly, as we were last year at this time. So I understand that everybody wants to lose their minds and throw histrionics and everything else. The 93-year-old woman, I would suggest maybe if you're 93, all of your money shouldn't be in stocks. But also, she has the same money that she did when she was 92. And she lived through the Blitz. If she's 93 years old in England, I think she can handle a few days of stock market turmoil and end up being okay. Several other things going on out there. Mr. Ali came in to give us all an economic lesson, and he said Biden cured inflation. Inflation was 1.8% when Joe Biden came into office. It went to 9%. It's still not back to where it was when Trump left office. Let me tell you this, Piers. What's today's date? April 7th? If in 18 months of the Trump administration, the stock market is down and inflation is up, I will come on and I will say, you know what? Trump has not handled the economy well. That is a wager that I would take right now. Go ahead and start the clock. You can put me on the calendar for 18 months from now, Piers. You can play this clip and I'll wear a clown face if I'm wrong. I think the stock market will be up from where it was when Trump was elected in November, probably up from where he was elected in January 20th when he was sworn in 18 months from now. I think this is going to moderate. I think American trade policy with China is going to get better. I think the Chinese are in much more difficult financial straits than the United States is. And the one thing you can say about Donald Trump, whether you like him or hate him, is he is a master of leverage. And I think what he has recognized right now is the United States has a lot of leverage on global trade partners around the world, and he is going to take advantage of it early in his term, get this taken care of before we get to the midterms. Yes, there may be people with apprehension around Easter when they go back home for breaks. I hope that there is steel in their spine, like I know there is steel in the spine of Trump, and all of this is going to get regulated. And by the summer, I think things are going to be rolling economically in the United States, the likes of which we have never seen before. What I agree with you on, Piers, is this is an extraordinary gamble that I'm not sure any other American president would have taken. And I think it goes back to the comportment of Donald Trump right now. He believes he knows best what is for the country, and he's going to act on it in all three of those major categories that I laid out. And I think he's going to be successful. I trust Trump to fix a lot of what Joe Biden got wrong. And I think, again, if you are out there right now and you're panicked over the stock market, buy. If you can't handle the emotion of the stock market, put your index funds in a drawer. Don't look at them for a year. Don't look at them for 18 months. I think you'll be happy.
Clay Travis just keeps his composure here, as we see, and just lays down the facts, lays down the information. Obviously, Richard Quest here is just losing his stuff. He is very antsy. He can't sit still. And Piers Morgan alludes to this throughout the whole entire interview. Nevertheless, as we continue on, we're going to see Richard Quest become more antsy and give this crazy acknowledgement towards the end of the video, which we're getting ready to see now. And Clay Travis just keeps everything classy, smooth, and intelligent.
So just respond to that.
Right, let's just get rid of this inflation business, if we may, please. If you look back, Clay, at inflation post the pandemic, first of all, I will concede that the Biden stimulus package when he came into office made a bad situation worse and was unnecessary. I will give you that. But if you just look at rates of inflation, every single nation, Western nation, had similar inflation to the United States. Every single one. All went up to 8, 9, 10%. It's
because they all made the same poor choices.
Possibly. But you can't say that the US was unique in this scenario, that the US was somehow sui generis in this scenario. Everybody had the same thing. Now, the next question is, Remember, today's people, well, us, you, me, everybody, we don't enjoy the luxury of the final salary pension. Remember the old days, my parents, when my father retired, it was a final salary scheme that where, you know, you got so much of how much your peers will remember those old grand old days. He's probably still got a final salary scheme somewhere in his past that he can look forward to pulling upon. Today, it's 401k, it's money purchase. We have to make our decisions. And yes, my 93-year-old neighbor, fine, good, yeah, she's still got enough money. She's like, but she's worried. She's worried that she might live till 96 and not have enough money for medical bills, blah, 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 etc. All I keep saying to you is, I agree with what was aimed at. I disagree with the way it was done. This was a nuclear option that didn't need to happen, self-inflicted.
So as we see, it's hard for Richard West to argue against all the facts that were laid out in the interview. And as you see, he has this false sense of composure here as he tries to explain himself and make a different narrative. He tries to say now, towards the end of the interview and conversation, that, well, I'm not saying that I completely disagree with everything that's being done, but I just disagree with the process. Well, that's a lie, because you disagreed with everything that's being said up to this point. But now when you don't have a point, now you're saying you don't disagree with the points. You disagree with the philosophy. I will say here that I disagree with Clay Travis here and Richard Quest in the sense that when inflation was up in America, there were a lot of countries that did not have inflation. And that's how we knew the inflation was, because of Biden. So they didn't quite get the hammer on top of the nail when it came to this point. But I know the facts and data on this. And the fact of the matter is, inflation was up in America, not across the whole entire world. It's not true. But I hope you like this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in more videos.